Start.
Okay,
So we are already recording.
we are recording.
Okay, so I will call the special select board meeting for August 26, 2024 to order. Are there any changes or additions to the agenda?
No, not tonight.
Board members want to make any changes? No. Okay, so we'll move on to public to be heard. Public to be heard. There's nobody. Ken, did you want to say anything during public?
I want to speak to the, I'm here representing the Economic Development Commission, and we want to speak to the topic on the agenda.
Okay, right. So since there are no members of the public other than Ken has already stated his intentions, we'll skip through public to be heard. First business item. Amy, you're up.
Hello, my name is Sandy. This is Carol Jacks. We're here to talk about whether the select board will approve additional wastewater allocation for the Little Ones University located at 36 Catamount Lane. Little Ones University currently has allocation for 32 students and 4 staff members, equating to 432 gallons per day. Carol purchased the property from Next Gen. And when she purchased the property at the time, well, the space can hold up to 48 students. The square footage of the building can hold 48 students. And so when she was deciding how many students she would like to enroll, she decided on 45. State requires that you have to have a toilet per 15 students that are attending. And so she switched out a mop sink for a toilet to fit the state's requirements. She had the fire marshal in there and got all of her approvals and certificate of occupancy, which she submitted to the state for their final approval. When they reviewed her paperwork, they determined because she added in that extra toilet and was planning on having additional children attend the school, she needed to come in for allocation. The amount of allocation she needs is for 13 students and 2 staff members, which equates to 180 gallons per day, which is over the 125% additional allocation. If you're over 125% of your initial allocation, then you have to go to the select board for approval. So that's why we're here. The reason for the special meeting is she's set to open on this Wednesday. And there are families that are depending on her for their childcare, and so she needs to get everything into the state kind of as soon as possible. And so she's here to request the additional allocation so that she can open in time on Wednesday for the daycare.
And you have no issues with this extra use?
No, we don't. We have sufficient allocation in our system right now to accommodate this request.
My other concern when I read through it was the application's unsigned.
Yes, everything happened quickly.
Okay.
I have the original application here ready for everybody to sign if this goes through.
But I meant that the applicant hadn't signed the application, so it was like,
Yes,
we're good with that? Okay,
yes.
okay,
Mhm.
that's all I wanted.
I have no problem with the request. I am curious if the town has a list of the allocation for the properties, all the properties in town.
Yes, we do keep track of all of the allocation of all the properties in town. We also do an update with a consulting firm where they take a look at all of our allocation existing planned based on our sewer core map, and they do an accounting of all of our allocations so that we can make sure that we're staying within what we need from the wastewater treatment facility and that we're not going over.
Is that information readily available to residents that purchase buildings?
It is if they ask for it. We do, are you saying like if somebody comes in for like an application, would we provide them with their
Yeah.
the existing allocation for that parcel?
Yeah. Kind of like, I mean, you provide everybody, if somebody buys a new property, the tax bill and everything, there should be a list of information
Sure.
to go with the building, so to speak. And allocation is pretty important.
Yeah,
Just a suggestion.
yeah, I'm not sure what we do provide when we when somebody purchases property, if they're made aware of what their existing allocation is.
Yeah, I would just suggest maybe that the planning department or wherever that comes from, that would be a good piece of information for
Yeah.
residents to have.
I know that we do if somebody's coming in for like a site plan amendment or like something through the community development process and it's something that requires the additional allocation, then we have the conversation then. But if somebody's just purchasing their house, I'm not sure that we necessarily provide them with that information. So, but I can look into it.
I know that we did a Williston application at one point in time and it was for a change of use in the space, and then they presented us with all of that information.
Yeah.
But this, because it was an existing childcare center and we were just doing a childcare center, we never really looked into anything other than that. And I didn't understand the allocation process at all. I thought that when we were advised to talk to the fire marshal, he was the sole sort of decision maker on the certificate of occupancy, because he very easily, like, he came in and said, yes, if you do it, we'll sign off on it, and just did exactly that. It wasn't until I handed that information into the state that I even knew anything further about the allocation. So part of it is probably naive early childhood educator versus anybody in business that kind of put us in this predicament, but for sure. Especially because I've been over at the Essex location for 15 years, and the last time we did anything like this was way back then, and it was a substantial increase that we had a whole process that Sharon Kelly walked us through. The fire chief sort of made this sound like it was just switch and you're good. So I think that part of that is my own lack of awareness in the whole entire process.
It's also complicated by the fact that the property is in Colchester, but you're
Yeah.
connected to the Essex water system, the Essex sewer system, so that may have been a communication mismatch as well, yeah.
We're gonna work on that
Yeah,
too.
right.
Yeah, no, I'm just using it as an opportunity to maybe look at what we provide and what is out there, because allocation is very important, and the closer you get to the amount that you have for the city, it's gonna be very important, so it's good that we have a consultant that checks that. Maybe that's a piece of information that you could provide with tax bill or something.
Okay, yeah, we do it every 4 or 5 years. We get an updated study done and we're due for one, so it's probably gonna be coming to you in front of the board in like 6 months or so.
Thank you.
Is there anything else you'd like to add or comment?
It's easy to just keep
Ken,
going.
do you wanna-
You all know me, I'm Ken Signorello, but I'm here as the vice chairman for the Economic Development Commission. So I consulted with our chairman before this meeting. We have not had this on our agenda at any of our meetings up to this point, but childcare is something that the Economic Development Commission is very interested in. In fact, we passed a resolution to the Planning Commission asking them to revise their zoning regulations, our zoning regulations, to better support childcare, make it more easy to set up in more areas throughout the town. And change some definitions as well, which are a little bit off if you've ever looked. So that passed, sent it to the Planning Commission. We haven't heard back from them yet in writing anyway. And but I thought that you could infer easily that the Economic Development Commission supports this allocation without question. We think that supporting people and businesses that are already here, rather than making allocations, let's say, for additional housing, which just exacerbates allocation and resource problems, this is a better use of the precious allocation. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Ken. Anything else? Only other thing I want to mention is that there's a typo in the recommended motion. It should say total allocation of 612 gallons per day. It is a 180 gallon per day increase. The total application should be 612. So we got that.
You got that, you got the computer, that's why
Yeah,
I didn't bring mine.
I assumed you had it. I apologize. So,
You have the motion up, or you want me to make it?
you can go ahead.
Okay, all right, I'll make the motion. I move that the select board approve the additional allocation for 13 students and 2 staff members equating to 180 gallons per day for a total allocation of 612 gallons per day for 36 Catamount Lane.
Second.
Thank you, Don. Any further discussion? Well, I guess only the thing I want to say is that a quorum is 3, so we need to be unanimous for this to be approved. Make sure we make that clear. And all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say nay. Okay, motion passes 3-0. Nothing on
you.
Wednesday.
Good luck.
Yeah. Thank you for the work you do.
Thanks.
It's much needed.
Yes.
I'm gonna cry.
All right,
Take
so
a deep breath and you'll be good.
Yes.
At this time, I'd like to make the motion, we adjourn.
is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Kendall. On the video, all those in favor of adjourning, please say aye.
Aye,
Aye. Opposed, say nay. Okay, we're adjourned.
Thank you.
thanks, Annie.
Thank you. Okay.
Quickest
Thanks, Ken.
Select board member.
Thank you.